I was going to read you something that I wrote. It's called Dreamland. And this here, as I said, I don't know how much you heard of what I said before, but this is based on a lot of what Baba has revealed about his own experience, and not just what we experience, which is quite different, and why he came into the world, which is not necessarily just for the everyday troubles that everybody has, one way or another, living their life. But I'm going to read this now. And then if you have anything to say, you can tell me, because I'm here. Who would believe I'm just a character in a dream I am having? That in my dreamland, I also made up the world around me. Am I doing in my little way what you have been doing since the beginning of time? When the mind emerged from you, duality was born. It was the perfect mirror for you to see yourself. Yogis try to still the mind so that they can get a better look at you. They love it. They never saw such a glorious sight before. Such bliss, love, and power, like nothing found on earth. Who would want to leave that? But to you, the enchanting mind is only good for dreams. Even a still mind is no match for the real thing. You live alone as the only one in existence. But yet, unlike us, you are never lonely. You have your own infinite self-fulfillment to keep you company. The glory of such a divine selfhood cannot be understood with the mechanical mind, which is good for grinding out endless thoughts and every kind of feeling that our mental and emotional bodies can produce. The wonders of your infinite consciousness can give any dream for anyone to enjoy or suffer. Kings and beggars are all illusions that you produce. Am I just another character in your dreamland? But I feel so real. It must be because I am made of nothing but you. By Irwin Luck.
Wonderful. Very powerful. Thank you, Irwin.
This is very important in the sense that it reveals what Bob is here for and what he sees. He sees it all as an illusion, as a dream. We don't. We see it as our reality, our everyday life. But yet, in the largest sense, because our bodies are very perishable, we don't last, we don't stay, we're not here long. If you're here for 50 years, maybe 100 years, if you should happen to live that long, that's just a drop in the bucket of the eternity of time. So what are we doing the rest of the time? In between lives and after death and before death, and it all has to do with memory. You don't remember nothing. And you can't remember what was before. You don't remember what you can't foresee what's going to happen in the future. But we do have our present, and we're in the present now. So this is all we know, and that's why we go to a master. That's why we go to somebody that has the understanding of everything, who has infinite knowledge of everything. So we go to him because he can advise us better than what we could advise ourselves. And here we are. So we follow the avatar. And he's telling us in the dream that we're having, which seems to be our real life, he's telling us it's all illusion, it's all a dream. But we can't experience that until after he gives the experience of it. We can understand it in our mind. Yeah, we have an intellect, we can understand, but we cannot experience what he's saying. And that's the goal. The goal will be that there will come a time when we'll actually experience what he does, what he experiences, and then we become one with him. One means not two, it means one. When he said that there is one self behind all the bodies and minds of everything throughout the cosmos, the universe, the whole creation of everything, there's one self that creates all this, that experiences all this, and it's done through the mind. So to go beyond the limits of the mind means that you're going to experience consciously what he does. And then you become one with him. It's like a drop falling into the ocean. It doesn't become two oceans or 10 or two drops. It becomes the whole ocean. One drop falls into ocean, becomes the whole ocean. One consciousness that touches the infinite consciousness that he is, that God is, becomes the whole thing. You don't become a half. You don't become less. You become what you merge with. You become the whole thing. And that is the goal. You can't imagine being infinite power, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss. Yeah, haven't even got an idea. It's just maybe we do have an idea, because we do experience some happiness. We do experience some ability of energy and power to move ourselves around, so that we have some idea of what he's talking about. But to experience it the way he does in the fullness of everything, that has yet to come. And it will come, because it's inevitable. Everybody has to experience their own unlimited self. You're talking about yourself. You're not talking about someone else. God is not someone out there. He's been saying it all along. He's within yourself. That means that when you see yourself as you really are, then you see God. How about that? You've been worshiping and praying to this God, and it turns out to be your own unlimited self, not limited self, not just limitation, unlimited. All right, now that we know that, I've been asked to tell you what happened when I met Mayor Baba. So I'll be happy to do that too. I've told this story before, because Baba had asked me when I was with him to tell others what I had experienced when I was there with him. At that time, I was heading back to the New York group from India. And so Adele Walken had a tape recorder. And she wanted to record me telling what happened when I was with Baba. And at that time, I didn't really want to be recorded. So I kept telling her, no. I'll just tell you everything. I'll tell the group everything, but I'm not going to care to be recorded. So she put the recording microphone down. And as soon as I started, she picked it right back up again. And she kept doing this every time. Whenever I said I didn't want to do it, she did it. And finally I said, I'll never get to tell anybody anything if I don't start. So I did. And so she recorded what I had said at that time. Now, what happened is this. I went to see Mayor Baba because I wanted to know God. I wasn't going because I wanted anything worldly. It was not really that. I wasn't interested in a career, a job, or family, or the normal things that you deal with every day. I was interested because I wanted to see what are they talking about. They're always talking God, God, God. Let me see this. I mean, there were people before that had experience with him, that had written Bibles about him, all kinds of people's experiences, personal and whatever they heard. And I thought, this has been going on too long. I got to experience, I got to see this for myself now. So when I went to see Bob, it wasn't just to meet him physically. I wanted to see him as he really is, because I had read the book, Listen Humanity, and in it, Baba said, you have to see me as I really am. I said, good, I want to see that. He's saying to see him as he really is. Why not? I would like to see that. And so when I went there, it wasn't like I had a big talk about this with him. No, it wasn't like that, because Baba was very aware of everything. And the first thing he did, he motioned for me to come over to him, and he gave me a big hug and embrace, and he kissed me on my cheeks, and he had me sit near him, and he told me that I should stay close to him for as long as I'm there. And I was supposed to come for 1 hour because in a letter, when I had written to Baba that I planned to come, he said that, yes, you could come, but come for 1 hour only. And then you go back with whatever instruction I give you. So I thought, oh boy, 1 hour, go halfway around the world. It's not an easy task, to go all the way there. And you don't see nothing else, nothing, no stopping for sightseeing or visiting or no, nothing at all. Just 1 hour there, and straight back. But then I remembered, as I was reading the things and the way Baba's behavior was, that he never listened to himself. He didn't. He would change his mind all the time. According to whatever the circumstances, well, he would go along with that. So I thought, it doesn't matter. And then there was another thing. In the book that I was reading, it said, even if the worst scoundrel were to stand before me and I had the wish, I can make him realize God in less time than the flash of a second. I said, boy, that's something I'm all for that. Yeah. So I didn't know, of course, what Baba would do, but, and I knew that time, it wasn't the same thing with Baba, but just the same, he could do a thing like that was amazing, to give you God realization, the experience of your infinite being in less time than the flash of a second. Time was nothing to him. So anyhow, I said, I better get there. Let's see what happens. So I go. And it wasn't so easy because I had to tell my father that I was leaving. And I had been working with him. I've been living in his house. And he was a very materialistic person. He came up the hard way. He had a struggle for everything, and he was very successful, and he did very well. And now his kid comes along. There was two of us, my brother Edward as well, comes along, and we say that we want to go to India, and we want to meet Mayor Baba. And he says, what? What are you going there for? Who is he? Well, Mayor Baba explained that he is God in human form and that he is here to help people to come up to that level. And he says, you believe this? He could not believe this for a second. This was beyond him. How anybody could actually believe this. So So I told him, I said, look, Dad, I know that you had some experiences with some spiritual people, and they were not real, they were frauds. They were just out for themselves to collect whatever money and prestige they can get for themselves. And these are the people that you've met, and naturally you have that feeling, but just remember one thing. Don't let go, or don't think that the real ones don't also exist. They also are here, and you got to be careful that you don't miss out on the real thing because of the false guys. Anyhow, he didn't listen to me. He didn't believe a word I said. he was really just thinking about what he did. Anyhow, he wasn't going to want to help in any way for me to go, because I needed money to get there. I needed to fly on a plane, and it cost money. So so months were going by since Baba had answered me that I could come for 1 hour. And so a letter comes from Mani, Baba's sister Mani, who was such a close disciple of his as well. And she writes that Baba will be entering seclusion, and he'll be going into seclusion for 6 months. And then when he comes out, he may be seeing people again, but until then, he won't be responding to any correspondence or visitors. No visitors during a period of seclusion. Except in an emergency, you could send a telegram. She said that. So I'm thinking he's going to go into seclusion for 6 months. Then I can't even go to see him at all for another 6 months, because 6 months had already gone by. I said, this is. I became desperate. I didn't know what to do. How am I going to get the money? My father wouldn't allow for anything, and I'm working. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
where Mani was had sent that letter about Baba being in seclusion for an additional 6 months now, and that I wouldn't be able to see him. So I became very desperate when I got that. It was hard to imagine having to wait another 6 months. So I became desperate, and I thought, well, what can I do? My father is against everything, and I have no money to go anywhere. And what am I to do? And then an idea comes. You see, in the midst of desperation, you get an idea. And the idea was simple, what I should have done in the first place. I wrote to Baba, and I told him my plight, that I wanted to come and see him. I can't see where money should stand in the way of such an ideal, but I know that if it was his will, I'd be able to come, providing it's your will. And I left it at that, and I sent that letter out. Now comes back a reply, and the reply came back really fast. Baba said one sentence. It was just one sentence that he said. Don't worry, circumstances will adjust themselves. That was it. That's all he said. Love, Mayor Baba. Don't worry, circumstances will adjust themselves. Love, Mayor Baba. That was his reply. 2 weeks later, I'm sitting there with him. And what happened in that 2 weeks? Oh boy, a lot happened to make that possible, because things that wouldn't work out all worked out now. Now it worked out, you see. I once saw a movie in which the girl is singing, and she's singing about how nothing works. And then all of a sudden things began to work, and she said no turned into yes. That's what happened with me. No turned into yes. Now I'm with Baba. And Baba says to me, um, he says, how did you come? So I said, Baba, it was your will. So then he motioned for me to stand up and to repeat that to the group that was present in the room. There was about 15 of his close ones in there, people that were with him in the morning. And 15 people, I would say,
15
was in
people.
the room at the time. Yeah.
Who's that?
So,
Who are you talking
well,
to?
now I'm on.
Oh,
Yeah, now I'm on. So
who is that?
this, so when that happened, I got up, I stood up, and I said, I'm here because it is Baba's will. And I knew how true that was, because it wasn't like now I just suddenly did it myself. 6 months I was trying, nothing worked. Now all of a sudden he said that, everything came together. So I told them all, I said, I'm here because it is Baba's will.
Is that
Now
true?
I'm going to just tell you something else. I'm going to tell you that what happened a year later, because I went to see him again a year later. And this time Baba again asked, how did you come? And this time I said, oh, well, Baba, I was able to earn the money. I did this and I did that, and I did the other. And Baba just looked off. He didn't say anything, because the first time it was his will. Now I did it, you see. And then I realized I made a mistake. I shouldn't. I should have realized that just because it was made easy the second time didn't mean that it wasn't just as much his will. All right, well, live and learn. That's how you learn. Now, during the time of that first visit, when Baba, there was a lot of things that happened. I was riding in the car with Baba because he wanted me to be very close with him at all times. So wherever he went, he would take me. And I would be sitting in the car with him. And this time I thought, I'm here with the avatar. I can go ahead and I can maybe ask him something, you see. So I thought, yeah, I'll ask Baba something. It seemed a little out of place, but I thought I would ask anyhow. And so I asked him if Shri Yukteswar was a perfect master. Now, Shri Yukteswar was the master of Yogananda, for those who had read about him and the self-realization fellowship that he developed later. But just the same, it was, he seemed to be a very unique person, this Shri Yukteswar, and he developed this yoga, the Kriya Yoga, which was an ancient yoga that he revived again. Anyhow, aside from all of that, so I asked Baba, I said, was Shri Yukteswar a perfect master? And Baba turned and he gestured, because he was silent. And he gestured, and Erich was reading his gesture. We were in the car together. And Baba said, did you come all this way just to ask me that? You could have written. And I realized, what difference did it make? I'm here with the avatar and I'm asking about somebody, whether they're perfect or not. All right, well, anyhow, the next day, it shows you how Baba would bring things out and how he worked. The next day in the morning, when everybody was sitting together again, Baba said, if anyone has any questions, now is the time to ask me whatever you want. So no one raised their hand. There was about, as I say, there was about 15 people in the room. Nobody raises their hand. So it seemed a little odd to me, because, this whole thing about the question came up the other day. Anyhow, I didn't say anything. Then Baba repeated, and he said, if anyone has any questions to ask. So I'm thinking again, this question that had come up, but then what was the point of it? I didn't say anything. Then Baba turns to me and he says, Irwin, do you have a question? Now I'm thinking, if I have just one question to ask, it should be the one question that answers all questions. Now the whole mental picture is now changing for me as to what to ask. And I'm not thinking to ask that question anymore. I'm thinking, what question can I ask that answers all questions? And I'm thinking about it and thinking and thinking and thinking. And everybody is quiet and waiting. And Baba is very patient and he's waiting. And I'm thinking and thinking. I can't think, what is the one question that would answer all questions? Yeah, I can't think what that question is. And Baba's saying, Baba's just there, and he's listening. This pause goes on for quite a while. Now, it occurs to me, I'm getting a little restless myself because I'm not coming up with an answer. But then I think, what I had read in the book, this book, Listen Humanity, it was a book that I really understood. I liked it very much. Anyhow, in the book, Baba is saying there that the one who asks for my love is the chosen one. So I thought, oh, this love, this divine love, I've never experienced that. I think I'll ask for that. So I said to Baba, I would like to have all your love. Oh, as soon as I said this, Baba points to somebody. Do you experience my love? No, Baba, not like that. Do you? No. Everybody's pointing to, nobody has any experience like that of all his love. So Baba turns to me and he says, why should I give you my love? Why shouldn't I give it to him and to her? Why should it be you? So I said, Baba, give it to whomever you want. I want to experience it too. Then there was a little table by the side of Baba's chair. And on the table was a jar. So Baba picks up the jar and he puts his hand around it, goes around like that. And he says, in this jar, you are in this jar. And there's a lid. If you want to experience the ocean of love that I am, all you need to do is remove the lid. And the ocean will come in and you'll experience my infinite love. Well, that sounded good. I'm thinking, sounds very good. That's all I have to do. Now, but then I'm thinking, you see, at the same time, how am I going to get the lid off? I'm on the inside. It takes somebody on the outside to get the lid off, and he's on the outside. Just then, as I was about to ask about that, someone else came in the room, and it was Kakabad. And Kakabad was the person that was with Baba that had the experiences he had divine experiences. And he would repeat Baba's name 100,000 times every day. Baba had told him to do that. And as a result, he was getting all these here incredible experiences that he would get, So he comes in and now the subject changes and there's no opportunity for me to ask anything further. But then I did think about it later and I realized, that's why I'm there. I'm there with Baba because if I could remove the lid, I would have done it. Can't do it, so go to the avatar, let him do it. So in my mind, that came through. But then I also and then Baba said at the time, when Kakabad had come in, he says to Kakabad, after I dismiss everyone, go outside, sit on the bench. And Irwin, you go out also and sit with Kakabad, and he will tell you his experiences, what he experiences. Oh, okay. So I went out and I sat down with him, and boy, does he tell me something. He says that even that he can see Baba anytime in his form or in his impersonal aspect. And he said that even in a dark room, there's so much light that that if he wanted to read a newspaper, he could read it in that light, even in a dark room. And he goes on to tell me all kinds of things that he has the experience of, that the whole cosmos, the whole universe, there are times when he can see it all coming out of Baba. Well, um, I wasn't really so interested in Kakabad's experience because I felt I'm with the avatar. He's the one that is everything. What compared to that, even Kakabad's own experience is not not that great. But still, because Baba had said to do this, so then you do it. You don't mess around when he says something. You do it. And it also reminds me of Francis Brabazon, because Francis, uh, you see, Baba had told me also when Francis was there that he should also talk to me. And if I had any question, I should ask Francis. So,
Excuse me, Irwin.
yes.
Rosalie's had her hand up. Do you want to take a question or?
Yeah, take anybody's question.
Yeah, go ahead, Rosalie.
Thank you. Jai Baba, Irwin.
Hello.
Hi. I wanted to know
You're the
how it
dancer.
felt.
Yeah, you're the dancer. Go ahead.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said you're the dancer. I've seen you dancing.
I like to dance. I like to dance. Padre didn't like that I dance, but I like to.
So what's your question?
Well, my question is, you met the highest of the high, God in human form. What was your experience of his humility? Because he is the most humble of the humble to come down to us. What was your experience sitting there with him?
My experience was not one of humility, but of he was very natural. He was very loving, and he was like a member of your family. If he were to he had me going and meeting all of his family. He wanted me to be close to him and to just, he was like the best friend, the best someone that you could go to if you had any question or anything, and he would be there to help you and to support you. And he was always there to in your best interest, to take care of your best interest. If you want to call that humble, you can, but it was not a feeling of any particular emotion like that. It was just that you could just be with him and enjoy his company immensely. And you always liked to be around him. And the kids that were there, they would stand behind his couch. Baba had a couch there, and all these people would come from different villages and places, and they would stand behind it. They loved being around him. There was nothing unnatural. And he wanted you to be natural and not to be thinking that he has to be some particular way or anything. He was anything and everything. And he was just very natural all the time. Baba was, but of course, you always had the understanding of who he is, that, you respected his position as the avatar. But at the same time, you were very close with him. At- and he liked that. He wanted people not to be so much disciples as to be friends and to be people that loved him like you would a family member that you loved. And that's the way I felt when I was with him.
I have a further question.
Huh?
I have a further question.
Okay.
Many of the Mandali were driven to a point being around him that they wanted to just leave him. Now, you came there, and this is the highest of the high, the beloved. This is God in human form. And did you have your things like, can that really be God in human form? Did your mind play any tricks?
Look,
Or did you have such
yeah,
conviction?
okay, I'll tell you, it's a good question, but I'll tell you that my intention when I was there was for him to reveal his unlimited state, the state of his reality, his real state. He was in human form, and as a human being, he was there to be able to connect with us because that's what we see. We see the body, we see human. Uh, and so, in order to reach us, he had to be in human form. But at the same time, he made it clear, that he was also everywhere in everything, which you can't even imagine. Can you imagine yourself being everywhere and everything? It goes beyond imagination. But then, nevertheless, that was his experience to be. That's why he could connect with everyone. That's why he had unlimited love because he was not limited by anything. He could do it, and people felt that warmth, that enjoyment of his company. God is very close to everyone, and you don't. It's not like he's some alien being who created the cosmos and you have no connection. That's not the way it works. The connection is definitely there because he's in everybody. And when he says he's in everybody, who is he in everybody? Who is he? He's your own self as you really are, not as you see yourself. You see. So this is where you're actually connected to your own higher self that appears in human form and comes into the world with you to interact with. So this is more clearly experienced that way from the human point of view than anything else at the time when I was present with him. That's what I experienced with him. And it wasn't all clear like I'm speaking now. It took time before the clarity of understanding this took place. As a matter of fact, just one moment. I want to just see something here. Okay. I have something here which I had written. I read these poems and these circulars go out and people seem to like it for some reason. Anyhow, this one is called The Best News Yet, and it tells something about that. This is the best news for all the dead and live people. You have no worries once you understand this. You have a subtle body of energy. The dead are not as dead as you think. They too live in the astral, subtle, and mental realms, according to their mind impressions that they have to work out. As for the living, we have to do the same thing in the worlds of matter, otherwise known as the gross plane. Still, in all spheres, worlds, dimensions, wherever you go, there is love, music, dancing, art, entertainment, and every pleasure known to us. So things are pretty good as you make the grand tour of everywhere. Not to mention the incredible bliss that the masters have and tell us about. It's all part of the journey. The great adventure where no one can die, no matter how many get killed by accident, disease, murder, old age, and war. If the old body doesn't make it, get a new one. Standard procedure. This has been going on for ages. Nothing new about this. Like 12 Coats, as he was known, who was hardly conscious of this world because he was a must on a higher plane of consciousness, when he was asked why his fingers were so distorted, he said because he had fallen out of a tree. But then he said he could take a new body anytime. Everyone in a body has been doing this so many times, you'd think we'd be used to it by now. It all has to do with memory. I don't remember a thing. What happened to me before or after? I don't know. Scary, isn't it? Good old fear. What a driving force that is, that will keep you awake like nothing else. But then that's the point. The master of masters comes and tells all the sleepers who think they are awake that they are living in a dream. So he comes as the awakener to wake us up to our real self like himself. This is called the spiritual path, following someone who is awake so you can wake up too. Who knew I am sleeping, dreaming all this, instead of being awake to the unlimited bliss and eternal existence that I am? Is this too much to think about? Good, because this is the best news I ever heard. In his great and mighty love, Irwin. And so there you have it, as much as I can put it down. I hope I answered your question in some way or the other.
I have one more question. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what I would so heartily wish is that there was a CD with Janet's angelic voice on it, just her singing. And I know you have all the copies of this. Have you put it out? Did I miss it? Did I miss it?
Well, it's been put out, yes.
Have it? Really, really. So it's a cherry-R.
No, but if anybody wants a copy of her singing, which was really quite incredible, she was like an angel.
Yes,
the way she
definitely.
sang. I have it, they can just contact me and.
I'm contacting you. I would
All right,
like it.
contact
That's the
me
reason I came to South Carolina.
to hear her sing.
Well, I never heard her sing thereafter because she, was leaving. She was leaving, but I came from California,
Yeah.
and I would like to hear her voice on a CD. Yeah, if you can do that.
All right.
Yeah. That
All
would
right. Okay. Look, I have an email address. All you got to do is send an email requesting it and put your address and, whatever information I need in there. And I can get something to you.
Yeah, so it isn't like readily available then to purchase or whatever.
Only from me.
Oh, that's amazing because
That's it.
her
That's
voice.
the whole thing.
Wow.
You can do
Yeah.
it from me.
That's a little sad for me to hear. Yeah. Anyway, I will.
Well, don't feel too sad about it because you can get it from me.
Okay, then
that's
I
okay
want
with
it.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rosalie.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Right. All right. My computer is doing some tricky stuff, so I hope you can see me and hear me.
Yeah, we can still see you. You were getting ready to talk about Francis Brabazon while you were with Baba.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Francis, Baba had told me that if I have any questions, I should ask Francis. Then he had us both go outside on the veranda and sit there on the bench. And he wanted me, Baba wanted me to ask him something, and then he would reply. Now, Francis was the kind of guy that he didn't really care to be talking to anybody about answering questions. And at that time, I wasn't really interested in asking anything. But because Baba said so, we both did it. You know, we both did what he said. So I asked him something, and he replied, and it was nice. But there was more to this, because Baba was looking ahead 15 years as to what was going to be. And I didn't know it at the time, of course. But 15 years later, I'm going around filming all these people, telling their stories about what happened with them, with Baba, because I felt that this would be a good record for posterity. People are going to want to know what the disciples of the Avatar and the people that met him and all had to say about their meeting and experience with him. So I'm going around doing this. Now, it came about that I wanted to go to Australia, and I wanted to film Francis as one of the people, probably a main person, because he spent 10 years with Baba, to tell the stories of what happened. So I write to him and tell him I want to come. And he writes back and says, don't come, because he's not going to be talking about anything. Well, that was a little disappointing, but just the same. So then a little time went by, and I wrote him back again. I said, you know, Francis, as there's so many people who are going to want to hear what you have to say about your times with Baba, it would be good, because I want to record you and whoever else met Mayor Baba in Australia. So he writes back and says, you can record whoever you want, but I don't want to do it. It's the second time he's telling me he doesn't want to do it. Well, now a little more time goes by, and I'm thinking to Baba, I'm saying, Baba, there's got to be some way of getting this fellow to tell something about what happened. And then it comes. Oh boy, did it come? I knew I'm going to have him over the barrel. So I write to him again, and this time I say, Francis, do you remember when Baba said that I should ask you whatever question I want, and that you should answer it when we were together all these years ago in 1960. So I said, now I have a lot of questions that I would like to ask you in regards to the film project. And if you think that this order, Baba's order, still stands, then I have questions to ask you, which you can answer. You see, he never would want to do anything other than what Baba said. So I knew that I had him. Now, it was too late for me to get a reply. I should say too soon, because I had to leave on the plane. And I just decided it doesn't matter. He wants to talk, we'll let him talk. And if he doesn't want to, then whoever wants to can do it. And I'm not going to make anybody do anything or push anybody to do anything. If they want to, they do. They don't want to, they don't. So I go. And now I arrive with the film team, which was the two ladies were there to help me with the film project. And we come to Avatar's abode, and it's Christmas. So everybody from all over Australia is going to come for the Christmas event. Anyhow, he's there at Avatar's abode. And now they get out. And I remember Martha, boy, was she so happy to meet him, boy. She really, she just was seeking to go to Australia all her life. And now she's there. And there's Francis So she goes out of the car and she goes straight over to him and he welcomes her and embraces her. And, oh, it's just very nice. And then the same with the other lady. And now it's my turn. Who knew what was going to happen with me? Because Francis could be pretty tough, you know. He had a reputation for that. But just the same, I'm there. So I get out and guess what? He is as nice as you can imagine. He welcomes me and he says to me, he says, now when you film, I want you to film the house because we built this place for Mayor Baba when he came. And he's telling me all the things that he wants me to film with him telling the stories. And he asked me if that's okay. I said, yes, it's really okay. And we have these incredible films now of him telling everything that happened, you see. And then at one point he says to me, but you know something? I have a question for you. What was it that you asked me when we were sitting together in 1960 and Baba had us both sit outside for you to ask questions and me to answer it? And at the time, I actually remembered what happened 15 years before. Like that, you know, don't ask me now, I can't remember anything. But just the same, at that time I remembered. And when I told him what it was, he just sort of nodded like this. Like, that's right. That's exactly what happened. And he was now doing what Baba had said to answer whatever questions that I had. It was quite remarkable, and it'll be for posterity. All of these films, a lot of them have been put up onto YouTube now for people to look at. That you can look at and you can see what happened and what he said and how he described what happened when Baba came. Because when you see, he had the key to Avatar's abode and the house that was built for Baba whenever Baba would come there. And he handed this key to Baba when Baba was there. And Baba gave him back the key and said, you take care of this now for me. And that's what happened. One of the things that happened. So my personal experiences with Baba were really wonderful. Baba kept me for 2 weeks. That 1 hour turned into 2 weeks. He wanted me with him at all times. And he took me with him wherever he went. You know, it was there was one time we went up to see Madhusudan because Baba liked Madhusudan very much. Madhusudan would sing for Baba. He had all these great songs that he would sing, ghazals. And Baba liked it very much. And he would always have Madhusudan singing whenever he came. Now, one day, he says to Madhusudan that he would like to visit his home. And Madhusudan says to him, Baba, that's not a good idea to come to my house. Please don't come to my house. So Baba looks, he says, you don't want me to come? He says, no, Baba, you shouldn't come to my house. And Baba says, what do you want? Why is this? He said, because Baba, when you travel and you go somewhere, you're like an elephant. All these people come with you and they just, so many come, you'd never fit into the house. I have a small apartment. There's no way that everybody's going to fit in like that. So it's better you shouldn't come there. So Baba didn't say anything. After he left, then it starts. And Baba says to one of the disciples, call up his wife. Ask if there's going to be any special event or anything special coming up. So the disciple does that and comes back and says, Baba, as a matter of fact, it's going to be Madhusudan's birthday and they're going to have a birthday party for him. So then Baba says, call the wife. tell her I'm going to come as a surprise. I'm going to surprise her. You shouldn't tell, she shouldn't tell him that I'm coming. Now, it happened that I was amongst those that came. You see, when Baba came there on his birthday, and I was present at the time because that's what during the time that I was there. And Baba is sitting in the chair, and everybody is sitting, standing around and around Baba, and then Madhusudan comes in. Oh, he's surprised. Baba's sitting there in his house, in his apartment, and Baba's saying to him, "Now sing." Sing, so he starts to have to sing the ghazals that he knows. And you just it's just the way Baba is. You can't anticipate the way he's going to be, because he's going to get his way no matter what. And that was what happened with Madhusudan at the time. It
Well,
was really interesting to see
Yeah,
this.
thank you, Irwin. Does anybody else have any questions for Irwin? We're getting
Okay,
close to
now
the
you
end.
can start asking questions.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Ask.
Go ahead and unmute if you have a question.
I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, me neither.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why you? Why'd you get so lucky and so chosen? I know you're one of the chosen anyway, but why this time?
Because his name is Irwin Luck.
Well, you're saying, why me? I don't know why me. I can ask the same question, why me? Look, it could be any one of us. We all share so much of the same questions and thoughts and feelings about Baba. Nobody understands him. Nobody really understands him, including myself. I could be with him and everything, but he's the avatar. His experience is where it's all illusion. He's everywhere in everything. What do I have connected to that? I don't have any connection with that kind of consciousness. I'm still functioning through 5 senses, just like we all are. And I don't think of myself as special. That's not the way it works. And if you did, around Baba, he would quickly get rid of that feeling of you, of thinking that you're someone unique or special or what. Everybody is special when it came to Baba. Whoever came to him, and listen, in the course of his life, there must have been 1 million people, if maybe more, that had actually met him. Many for just a few minutes, or just, as they come up in the queue. And then there were others that actually spent some time with him. But I was there to know him as he really is. And I'm going to say something about that. So Baba did tell me 2 things. He told me many things, but these were 2 of the things. He said, one day, I will give you what you want. You will know me as I really am. And I will give you and Edward, we were together at this time. He said, one day I will give you the highest experience. So whenever that day is, who knows? I don't know when that day is or how it is. But these are things that are inevitable. The only part that is really great about it is that when you come to the avatar, he can actually do it. Someone else tells you, yes, oh yes, you'll experience something, of yourself. What? Because they heard something from somebody? No, they just wishing it for you. It's a nice wish, but he can do it. You see, that's the difference, and that's why you go to him. You don't go because you think that someone else is special and you're not. You go because this is why he's here, to do that, to make it possible to know the unlimited self and not just the limited side of yourself.
Irwin, I wonder if you would mind reading the poem that you started off with again.
Oh,
Could you read that again?
which poem? I read two
The one, the new one that you read at the beginning.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Okay, here it is.
Okay.
All right. It's called The Best News Yet. That's the one.
Yeah.
This is the best news for all the dead and live people. You have no worries once you understand this. You have a subtle body of energy. The dead are not as dead as you may think. They too live in the astral, subtle, and mental realms, according to their mind impressions that they have to work out. As for the living, we have to do the same thing in the worlds of matter, otherwise known as the gross plane. Still, in all spheres, worlds, dimensions, wherever you go, there is love, music, dancing, art, entertainment, and every pleasure known to us. So things are pretty good as you make the grand tour of everywhere. Not to mention the incredible bliss that the masters have and tell us about. It's all part of the journey. The great adventure where no one can die, no matter how many get killed by accident, disease, murder, old age, and war. If the old body doesn't make it, get a new one. Standard procedure. This has been going on for ages. Nothing new about this. Like 12 Coats, as he was known, who was hardly conscious of this world because he was a must on a higher plane of consciousness. When he was asked why his fingers were so distorted, he said because he had fallen out of a tree. But then he said he could take a new body anytime. Everyone in a body has been doing this so many times. You would think we would be used to it by now. It all has to do with memory. I don't remember a thing. What happened to me before or after, I don't know. Scary, isn't it? Good old fear. What a driving force that is, that will keep you awake like nothing else. But then that's the point. The master of masters comes and tells all the sleepers who think they are awake that they are living in a dream. So he comes as the awakener to wake us up to our real self, like himself. This is called the spiritual path, following someone who is awake so you can wake up too. Who knew I am asleep, dreaming all this, instead of being awake to the unlimited bliss and eternal existence that I am? Is this too much to think about? Good, because this is the best news I ever heard. In his great and mighty love, Irwin.
That was wonderful, Irwin. I especially love the line, "The dead are not as dead as you think."
That's right. Which includes us.
It includes us. So if there are no other questions, there's a question from Rosalie. Okay.
Irwin, thank you for this session. I look forward to other sessions that you will give, because I love that you welcome questions. That's great, Irwin. Thank you.
Oh, yes. I always welcome everyone's questions.
Well,
So
because there are a lot of
Martha
questions.
has a question.
Yeah, see?
Okay, Baba.
Jay Baba.
Jay.
Hi, Irwin. I'm not on screen, but Baba really valued all of us getting along together. And you've been with a lot of Baba lovers in a lot of situations, and you have a really strong presence and personality. My question is, how do you deal with a personality or a person that is not harmonious with you in relationship to Baba and Baba's wish?
You know, the truth of the matter is I don't even think about it. Who's harmonious and who isn't harmonious, because there's no end to that. No, I just keep my focus on Baba, and I just get along with whoever comes along, just to be nice and to be kind. That's all there is to it. There's nothing mysterious about it.
So when somebody upsets you or something like that, then you think of Baba and just let it flow over you. Is that what you're saying?
If they get upset about something, I ask them what they're upset about, to try to get to the root of what the trouble is. And usually it's something that you can discuss and work it out, but you got to know what it is. If they're upset, then there's a reason. Then you need to know what the reason is. If you want to get that far into it, many times I talk in terms of what Baba, if they're Baba lovers, I can talk in terms of what Baba's experience and how he sees things and how we're supposed to see things similarly as we grow in it. We have to grow up in it. It doesn't just happen suddenly. You come into the world, you don't know anything. You're a blank. And then you begin to learn. And so my truth is that, and one of the things that I really liked is the explanations that Baba gave, because I always felt he was right on. You just can't miss it. He's right on. And I remember I once had somebody tell me, they were not Baba lovers. They just said, how can you always be talking so much about this Baba, what he says and what he said? Don't you have any thoughts of your own? I said, well, and he said, and you're so intelligent, and you should be able to just express yourself in your own way, and have your own thoughts and not just what Baba says. So I said, look, with all the intelligence that you think I have, I'm telling you right now that the most intelligent thing that I ever saw and did was to hear what Mayor Baba said, because he was right. And if you get to the point where you can find somebody like that, then you're going to want to emulate the person. You're going to want to understand what they say, and then you pass it on to others. That's all I do. I just pass on what he said. I don't have any thought about it. It's because I agree with it. If I didn't agree with it, then it would be different. But everything he says, I agree with it, because it makes so much sense to me. So there, we're all pretty much the same. We're not all that different.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to stop the recording now. And why don't we end with the beloved's prayer?